Okay, give one example to show that the square of an irrational number is not always rational. Okay, if we think of irrational numbers, for instance, like square root of 2, right? That's irrational because, you know, if I type that into my calculator, okay, press the ST, you get a horrible number and there's no pattern there, there's nothing recurring, right? Nothing repeating. It's a horrible number, so it's irrational. Trouble is, you know, I was saying you have to square it. Now, when you square this irrational number, okay, so root 2 squared, right? You know, you can put in a bracket if you wanted to. Ultimately, what you're doing is root 2 times root 2, aren't you? And when you times the root by itself, you end up back with 2, don't you? And that's rational, okay? That's rational. So it doesn't help us with what we want here. They say not always rational, so we need it to be irrational. Okay, so how are we gonna do this, right? Because any, you know, I could do the same to any. I could do root 3. Of course, root 3 is irrational because if I type root 3 in here, press ST, I get something horrible out, right? So root 3 times root 3. When I times that by itself, you just get with 3. So that's no good. Okay, but we don't have to have roots of whole numbers as the only sort of irrational numbers. Pi, for instance, is irrational. Okay, you might not think so. You might think pi is 3.14 as we learned, but if we look here, shift, if I press that pi button, actually pi is 3.14159. That's all sort of, there's no pattern there, right? It's all sort of randomly, isn't it? There's no pattern at all. So it's an irrational number. Now, if I was to square pi times pi, you end up with something horrible still, right? So pi squared, 9.86, it's all messy, right? So pi squared is also irrational, so that works, right? So the number, you can just write down pi. The square of the number, well, I would just write down pi squared. That will be accepted in the mark scheme, okay? You don't have to write down what this is, you know, 9.86, all that. Just write pi squared down. Okay, part B, find two different irrational numbers to make the answer to the calculation below rational. Okay, complete the calculation by filling in 3 boxes. Well, what you can do is just think logically about this. You know, think of two irrational numbers like root 2 and root 8, for instance. Okay, they're both irrational numbers. But when I times them, okay, well, of course with surds, right, when you times them, you can put them in the same root. That's square root of 16, isn't it? We know square root of 16 is 4. Okay, so I found now two irrational numbers. When you times them together, okay, it comes out to be a rational number. All right.